Welcome back to Terror by the Bay. I'm David. I want to read a little bit on the budget. Joe Biden did sign the bill into law early Saturday morning. The budget did pass through the House I'm getting the numbers here on this story. Come on, where are the numbers? Sorry, quick pause there. It passed the House 366 to 34, so a little better than 90% in the House. And it passed the Senate 85 to 11 in a vote after midnight. And the White House said it had ceased shutdown preparations, and there'll be no government shutdown. This is almost exactly what happened the last time with the budget, where they literally got it approved just past the deadline, which I can imagine the Republican senators are pissed because they're making the Republican senators stay there to all hours to do the procedural things to vote on something that should have been taken care of. It's a continuing resolution. They added a couple of things, but generally speaking, there's nothing to nothing to debate. The Republicans are like, but we wanted to do spending cuts. Well, then you should have come up with a budget. They can't. They just can't. They can't govern. And they don't. And they're fragmented. Now, what was interesting to me is that the Senate passed it 85 to 11. I want to dovetail this back to the Joe Biden and Kamala Harris canceling their travel on Thursday and going back to the White House. Because superficially, the story might be that, well, they wanted to be ready for the budget. Are you telling me that Mitch McConnell wouldn't have communicated with Biden to say that if it gets through the House, they've got the votes in the Senate, so that Kamala Harris wouldn't need to be there to break a tie? I mean, again, you're talking 85 to 11, so 96 of the 100 senators voted and only 11 voted against. McConnell would have known the numbers. Schumer would have known the numbers. So it makes no sense to screw over Kamala Harris's travel plans to break a tie. So, watch today's video. I put out a video that came out early Saturday morning. Take a look at that one for some background on it. Also, Gary and I did a Twin Terror reading on that, which should be going up at the same time as this video. No, to me, one of the interesting parts on it was that Trump wanted to eliminate the debt ceiling for the next 2 years. Now, the Republicans always run on, we're the party of fiscal responsibility, but we want the balanced budgets, and the Democrats are just spendthrifts. But every time the Republicans get in charge, the debt skyrockets. Now, you can make an argument that, well, when Biden got in there, the debt skyrocketed. Yeah, because the government had to spend money when we were doing shutdowns with COVID. And actually, that started with Trump. Which is why the U.S. economy has recovered more quickly than the rest of the world. But we don't want to discuss that now, do we? That's an inconvenient talking point. But Trump is talking about, again, ran on reducing the deficit, but he wants the debt ceiling raised. The debt ceiling it's like an artificial cap on your credit card. So like maybe you have $1,000 limit on your credit card. Or let's say you have a $5,000 limit on your credit card. The debt ceiling says, even though I have a $5,000 limit on my credit card, I'm not going to spend more than $1,000. And if I spend more than $1,000, then I have to get permission from all these people in order to do it. And it's money that's already spent, so it's kind of paying off the debt. And there's no reason to have a debt ceiling. There really isn't. You're just paying off the debt. You have to show fiscal responsibility in your budget, but you don't need to have a debt ceiling. It's arbitrary and not necessary. And so I would agree with Trump that we don't need to have a debt ceiling. The problem is that if you're running on a policy of reducing the debt, why would you even care about the debt ceiling? Because you're going to reduce spending. Hopefully also increase revenues, but you're going to reduce spending so you don't even bump up against that debt ceiling. So what is up with that? Why is Trump wanting to increase the debt ceiling? Okay, entertainment purposes only. The implication is that it's because he is going to give a massive tax breaks to billionaires, and so revenue is going to go down, and then we're going to bump up against the debt ceiling, and then it's going to shut the government down, and then you're going to force draconian measures on people in order to pay our bills. It's just chaos would ensue. But let's see what we've got going on here. Foundation of the reading is the Wheel of Fortune, an ongoing process, karma, and another opportunity coming up here. This might be an opportunity that he wanted the first time he was president, but didn't get. And then it's winner takes all. Five of Swords, the card of narcissism, non-cooperation type thing. And then the Devil card, because it's a reading on Trump, so of course the Devil card is going to show up here. It's part of something that he's been wanting to do. Again, Donald Trump's his knowledge base, his understanding of things, sort of stagnated somewhere in the late 70s, early 80s, maybe mid 80s. And so his worldview hasn't changed in the last 40 years. So to him, I don't know where I'm going to go with this, but understand, like with him, tariffs, back then he would have thought tariffs were a great idea and people would be talking about tariffs, and he's never evolved, he's never matured his thinking on such things. But it's kind of an opportunity. A winner takes all opportunity. I'm curious what that's going to go with here. Okay, we got the Six of Wands in the past. This is the purported Trump victory for the 2024 elections. Here we go. Current situation is the entitlements. All these government programs that help poor people. Donald Trump is not interested in helping poor people. He's interested in helping billionaires, specifically himself, but other billionaires, because that's the club he wants to run around in. Overarching energy is the Page of Wands, messaging about actions he wants to take. This is, by suspending the debt ceiling, it opens up the ability for him to do the stuff that he wants to do going forward. What is that? Oh, Jesus. The lesson to be learned is Ace of Pentacles, because there's going to be big spending going on. It's Christmas for billionaires, basically, I guess would be the best way to put it. Lowering the taxes for the very wealthy. And again, it's just what they want to kill entitlements. They want to defund Social Security. And mind you, when I say entitlements, that's the nasty word that the Republicans and right-wing conservatives tend to use for things like Social Security, Medicare, Medicaid, welfare, that sort of thing. Now, we pay into Social Security. We pay into Medicare. So those aren't entitlements. That's stuff we've paid into. We're not entitled to it like, you haven't done anything and you feel like you deserve it. No, this is stuff that we've paid into. But the really wealthy, and they've done, Heather Cock Richardson talks about this quite a bit. The ultra wealthy refer to it as wealth redistribution. That's their evil buzzword for when you tax the wealthy and set up programs that help the marginalized communities. In children's books, we refer to it as Robin Hood. And, in this case, the Sheriff Nottingham refers to it as wealth redistribution. Y'all don't learn the lessons of Jesus, do you? Outcome. 10 of Cups. Happy Republican family. We may not be out of this yet. We kind of dodged a bullet that they didn't raise the debt ceiling. And maybe this works out for the Republicans going forward. And you might be saying, well, David, what do you mean? The Republicans going forward. Again, we assume that Donald Trump's going to be in the White House for the next 4 years or so. what if Biden and Harris somehow change, report accurate results from the 2024 election, and Harris is in there. Well, now she's got to contend with the debt ceiling, which again is arbitrary. Chip Roy has been just beside himself with the GOP. Basically saying you run on this fiscal conservatism and then you want to get rid of the debt ceiling. That's the kind of thing that gives Chip Roy nightmares at night. Now, it shouldn't. The debt ceiling, again, it doesn't need to be there. You need to pay your bills. So the key is coming up with a budget that balances your expenditures with your revenue. What is Trump going to do with revenues? Is his cut tax plan? If Trump gets into the White House, what's he going to do about taxes? Because he's got a new tax plan that's going to benefit the top 1% or the top 0.1% or the top 0.01%. What's Trump going to do with these taxes? I just mentioned Chip Roy. Chip Roy's going to have nightmares with it. Nightmare scenario. Walking away. He won't even get that far. His tax plan is ridiculous. He may not get the support. It certainly puts congressmen in a bad spot because you can't just give away the farm like that. You're going to kill the country. Well, maybe we may not even be getting to that. We got the moon card. There's something nightmarish that's about to happen with people leaving. Trump wants to get rid of immigrants. That's going to crash the economy. Secret plans. There's something that he's got going on that he's not telling anybody. Again, like a cabal of billionaires everywhere. It's funny because I mentioned Chip Roy on this one. This could cause folks like Chip Roy and like the 30 to 35 Republicans that voted against Trump in that tax bill to not support Trump on financial issues. It's like there's more coming here. They may not support the tax plan, the tax cuts that Trump wants, because you'd have to have severe cuts in Social Security programs, welfare, the VA, stuff like that to compensate for it. Trump's tariffs won't do it. This could also be the tariffs too. In the past Night of Pentacles, Trump has come up saying, the tariffs. I'm so smart with monies, but it's about also the revenue coming in. It's a dumb idea. It's an immature idea. His tax plan would be wildly immature. Reckless. Reckless is what I'm getting from that. There's going to be resistance to it. It's not going to be accepted as written. It's going to have to go through a lot of iterations, and it's going to slow everything down. Mind you, Trump wants to do everything as fast as possible. He just wants to lightning strike in. But one of the problems you've got going on here is that he only has total 220 versus 215 in the House. And Matt Gaetz has resigned, and two other people are under consideration for cabinet posts. So that leaves you a 217 to 215 majority until those other seats are filled, which is merely any one vote can torpedo it. And by the look of Trump trying to get rid of the debt ceiling, it's not one vote, it's like 35 votes would torpedo it. The lesson to be learned, he would crash the economy. Whatever he wants to do, whatever plan he's got going on with the debt ceiling and his tax plans, would absolutely crash the economy. Right at Christmas time, too. Now, mind you, it'll be past that by the time he gets in there. But, people left out in the cold, kicked out. They don't have the support that they need. They don't have the government programs that they paid into that help keep them alive. So you're going to lose a portion of your population. It's almost eugenics like. Like, we don't want poor people. Poor people are a drain on society. So if you're a poor person, we're just going to execute you. Poor people need not apply. But if you also chase away all the immigrants, you're getting away of your labor force that does the unpleasant, backbreaking jobs. And if you don't have people doing the unpleasant, backbreaking jobs, you kill the economy. Outcome is the Six of Wands. There's a victory here. Maybe it's with the Temperance here. I think the victory might be that you're going to force, in some ways, bipartisanship from the most unlikely sources in Congress. Chip Roy voting with the Democrats. Now, they would be voting together for entirely different purposes. Chip Roy, because he doesn't want the government to spend money on anything, so he won't like Trump's tax bill, not the least of which because it's giving a tax break to the people who could afford to pay the most. The Democrats aren't going to want to do it for the same reason. Chip Roy also is going to want a spending cut, but maybe not the programs Trump, or to the degree, and I think that's what it is that if you have the spending cuts necessary to account for Trump's revenue cuts, you would basically have to flush Social Security, flush Medicare, flush the VA. Yeah, the Party of Patriots no longer helping with the health care of veterans and folks that have served in the military. That would just be a nightmare scenario for them because it's just, the betrayal is real. But they may not get that far. We'll see. This is all, in the end of the day, we're waiting on Biden's free will. Some parallel universe is going to go down that path and it's going to be miserable. And it's the find out portion of F around and find out. Hopefully we don't have to go through the worst of it. But we'll see. Thank you very much for watching this video and supporting my channel. I appreciate it. This reading is for entertainment purposes only, but I'll catch you on the next video. Take care. I messed that up. This reading is for entertainment purposes only, but I hope it provides insight. And we'll catch you on the next video. Take care.